Can you find me now?
He's running pretty good.
He sucks, dude. He sucks. Kick his ass over the course of the season. I taught him hockey. I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, Ty's tweet about Tommy getting verified and me winning all the money, like, it put me in tears. He was so bored. He was texting us. He's like, I'm gonna go on Twitter and like troll you guys.
I know. I had to take my shot too. You're like, how about the DFS side? And I was like, Tommy and Stevie are giving you advice. What'd you expect?
He's reading Tommy picks every week.
Uh,
All right. Their setup looks pretty good, though. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, guard, forward, utility. Same as DK, it looks like.
Yeah.
Pull up their scoring really quick, and then we'll get started.
God, my fucking team in the 6-team league is so good.
I like mine.
Love my
I don't
team.
ever like mine, but I actually think mine's okay.
Yeah, Oladipo. I knew you were the last guy that was going to be in my way to get him, too. Knew he was going to fall, and then you picked him. I was like,
I was shocked that I got him where I got him.
I know. I just kept eyeing him from like 24 down. And I was like, man, why can't I be on the end? Just snag him.
I grabbed Peterson just at my last pick just because I know Sullinger's going to miss a couple weeks, or it turned into a month, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I almost picked up Terry Rozier. I thought about that. It's when I was doing my waiver. Actually, I'll throw a waiver claim on him. Not that I really want him, but
I posted the question about the IR thing as that dude was drafting. Then he started taking forever. I was like, oh my god, do not take Middleton now.
I was so pissed. I was like, no.
I waited and I waited and I waited. I was like, am I really going to get him this late?
Oh, I was so mad. I
love your Bosch pick. I was going to take him on the way back. We have 2 IR spots.
Yeah,
I was going to take both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I might need the IR spot, but he's going to play at some point, like in February.
Like if he gets his health, like if Bosch gets his health.
Yeah, I mean, they say he's not going to play now. That could change in like 4 weeks. They'll be like, all right, we're going to play him now. And I've got like a top 20 pick in a freaking 180. So I didn't get my choice between like Tyler Johnson and I don't know, other Joe Schmo. Like,
yeah, I won't get Middleton until March, but if I'm anywhere decent and I make the playoffs and have Middleton for a playoff run.
Oh, that's right. I'll have Bosch for the playoff runs. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, even if they wait till February, get Bosch in the playoffs. Whiteside, Bosch, Kyrie anchoring the team.
I was so happy that I got Cat.
I was actually happy I got Whiteside at 10. He'll be top 6 this year.
Yeah, I was shocked.
A freaking beast.
All right. What? I can't find their score. Oh, there it is. Is that it? No? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Point is 1. 3-pointers is +5. Rebounds is 1, 2, 5.
Wait. What?
Each point is 1. A 3-pointer is +5.
Plus
0.5. 0.5.
I was like 5. What the fuck is this?
Turnovers is 0.5. Isn't it the same as DK?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a 3-point contest shooting or what?
No more than 4 players. All right. So it's pretty standard, actually. They have a pretty decently sized $25 tournament. 2K to 2K.
2K to combat total prize pool?
Yes.
Oh. I thought it was 2K at first. I was like, oh, it's actually playable.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, hockey's great, though. $20 on 11 games. Was that an 11-game slate?
Nice.
Yeah, probably fire that up tomorrow. Experience the Winter Classic in St. Louis. Oh, sick. I'm going to be chasing these for like a month.
Oh, they have that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, sick. Oh, my friend's wife will be so jealous, too.
Dude, I played Booker in cash on Monday, Thursday over Miller and Anderson.
Fuck you. Go die.
Worked out.
God. Lamar Miller, if he doesn't get hurt, beats Booker.
I don't disagree with that.
It's annoying.
I fucking hate that Anderson found the end zone, though.
I had 40% Anderson, so I was kind of just like, yeah, that's a neutral score for me. I needed Sanders to get in, though. I think I had like 80% Sanders. So getting tackled at the one twice was pretty suboptimal.
All I did was play cash in the $27 tournament.
You didn't play the King of the Beach Cues?
No.
Why?
Because I actually had to work today. It was annoying.
It's not like this slate requires skill.
I know, but I didn't No, I did a shitload of research. I had that article.
You just didn't. You forgot to register.
Yeah, I played Booker, Sanders, and Thomas with the Broncos D.
Yeah, I have Anderson, Sanders, Thomas, Broncos.
I think I'm gonna play Lee and Robinson and play Mariota.
I'm fading Robinson on the entire slate. Just fading.
I just don't want to play. I don't want to play Bortles, so I think I'm gonna play the 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, Robinson's gonna suck. He's gonna be like 80%. I'm perfectly happy fading his ass.
All right. You feel okay? Like, this basketball slate's so weird. It's gonna be tough to talk about.
Yeah. Like, it's just, how many tickets to this thing do I have? Like 5.
Like, I'm. You have to have all the Kawhi, right?
Yeah. I haven't tried to build a team yet, but my model was kicking out like a really random guy to play.
I read Jumpahoo. Like, that's
Jumpahoo's up?
Yeah,
that was
one of my favorite articles.
I didn't realize it was up.
Like, he's super high on Durant. Shocked. I guess Durant's had a lot of success against Kawhi.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could check that on StatMuse. He's a bigger guy. I guess it makes sense. Kevin Durant.
I think my favorite. I think my favorite 2 players on this whole slate are Pau Gasol and Kawhi.
Holy shit!
He's done really well against him.
There's really well, and then there's like just never sucking. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it says
his lowest score ever is 33 DK points. That's insane.
You just found a nugget for the show.
His entire career. He's got 1 game. He's got 2 games under 34 DK points. Jesus, that's absurd.
Yeah, you think it's bad, dude? I have to write a Roto-World article about this slate.
Haha. I did Roto-World on Thursdays, though. I haven't looked to see Thursday's slate. I should.
That's awesome. Like, you want those exposure to the Roto-World articles, by the way. I get like 10 to 25 follows every time they tweet something out of mine.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped about that.
It's good exposure to have. All right, you ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, let me just see how many games for Thursday after bragging up to you. 4 games? Okay. That's workable. And my Celtics are on the slate. That's totally workable. We can do that.
You get 1 more game. I wish I had 1 more game.
Yeah, the games are actually pretty decent, too.
These games suck.
No, they're awful.
So I told Scott that I'm going to write up 1 like full detailed write up per position and like other options because there's just you can't do 2 players per position on this slate.
No.
All right, here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to the Roto Grinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevie TPFL. It's October. It's the 25th of October. It's 2016. It's Tuesday. I know you guys are used to hearing us on Mondays. We actually recorded a podcast last night, and technical difficulties happen sometimes, and it just was a mess. Took forever to try to upload to YouTube, and it was just it just did not end well. And it's when it finally was all said and done, it was muted, and don't know what happened with that one. So we're back here on a Tuesday. I was lucky enough to have Siege join me for a second straight day and come in on his day off. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you? Yeah, you know, some people might say our podcast would be better muted, but hey.
This past week, you know, it was an interesting weekend for me. NFL stunk, and luckily, so when I finally got back and I was able to look through everything, Evans and Winston bailed me out a little, but it was still a very much losing weekend for me. But NASCAR was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I told you were going to kill NASCAR like last week. You're like, oh, I'm going to play lower volume this week. It's a super speedway. I have to travel. And it's like, so basically you're just going to have the nuts and win everything.
It was really close to the nuts and winning everything. But Yeah, it just works out that way sometimes. You make your cash lineups in NASCAR super chalky, and my cash lineup absolutely destroyed every tournament. And that's why you put your cash lineup in tournaments.
Absolutely. 100% of the time. No exceptions.
I agree. We're here to talk some basketball, my friend. It's basketball season. It's open night. It couldn't be worse. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. This slate is awful. You're going to want exposure in places you're not going to want throughout the year. We have some of the best defensive teams in the NBA playing this on this 3-game slate. It's really interesting. And even after a couple hours of research, I still don't know what I love and what I don't love.
Oh man, a couple hours of research on this slate. I did an hour today, and I just got so angry. I just threw my stress ball against the wall, and I was like, "Screw this, I'm done."
Oh well,
the pricing's so tight. It was just like there's like just no edge on this slate. It's just
what stinks about that. I haven't even tried to build lineups yet, so I don't know what the pricing looks like. My initial going through, looking at trying to project usage and who's going to benefit where. That's what I did for the last couple hours, and then I joined Night Sweats, and then we do the pod now. It's just, I don't know. This is it's interesting to kick it off on this type of slate.
Yeah, interesting. That's not the word. That's not the first word that came to mind, but okay, we can go with interesting.
So let's say it this way too. The best advice we can give on the podcast this morning, or if you're listening to it, throughout the day, don't go crazy just because NBA's back. Don't play your normal bankroll. That's going to be our best, best advice here.
Hockey has a nice 11-game slate.
Well, if you have a few hockey teams you like, maybe we'll talk about that at the end.
I actually haven't looked at hockey yet. I was being more sarcastic, but I can quickly pull something up.
All right. Well, being sarcastic is always fun. All right, let's get this thing started. We start in Cleveland. It's ring ceremony night for the Cleveland Cavs. It's the defending champions. Not the same exact roster, but it's not very different. And they face a New York team that made a lot of offseason moves. We have a 198.5 total. It's the second highest total. Cleveland favored 9.5 in this game. What are we doing here?
By the way, I have a way different total than you. I've got 204.5.
Oh, that means it went up a lot.
Yeah, that's.
I wrote these lines down earlier this week, so.
All right, I got 205. So.
Well, that's good. So the total went up 7 points.
Yeah, I think the J.R. Smith signing had something to do with that. Didn't they finalize that earlier this week?
Well, I did this. I wrote these down probably Friday.
Yeah, I think that happened over the weekend. Maybe I'm wrong, though.
Well, either way, that's good to know that the line went up a lot.
Yeah, I got 205 here, so that's what I'm basing everything off of. I'm actually surprised the Knicks are only 9.5-point dogs. That's the thing I think I have to be most surprised. The Knicks are bad.
Do we know if the Knicks are going to be bad, though? It's such a different team.
I mean, I love Jeff Hornacek as a coach. He's probably a top 5 to 7 coach in the league, but oh man, this team has just got no talent. It's you got Melo, Zingis, and you've got the corpse of Rose and Noah. Good luck.
It's gonna depend a lot on health, right? If Noah and Rose, who have had a bunch of injuries throughout their careers, can stay healthy, even Brandon Jennings has had a lot of injuries throughout his career. If these guys can stay healthy, they're not going to be awful, but maybe an 8 seed, maybe.
Awesome. Sorry, I was. We're gonna make an announcement on the pod later, and I was. Let me just say that I was sorry. I was looking at an email, so let me just say. We're doing it. This is what we call a teaser, and I'm telling Stevie right now, but it's live.
All right, so we definitely know. We'll definitely talk about that for sure when we get done with these games, because I think it's really cool news, and it's something that I'm pumped about. So yes, good teaser there. I know, I know exactly what you're talking about, which is that's just how we roll here on Team MG, and Team MG up 3-1 on Team Chalk. Don't want to get sidetracked, but we won again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we forgot our gloating from yesterday's podcast did not get out to the general public. So yes, we are in fact up 3-1, and basically should have this rocked up with a sweep, if not for Team Chalk's horseshoe.
All right, let's talk about this basketball game. Let's start with the New York side. Cleveland plays at a slow pace. What are we doing with any Knicks at all here?
I think the Knicks are how you're going to win this slate, to be honest. That's a really high team total for the Knicks here in this spot. I mean, the team is ugly, right? You've got Rose, Lee, Courtney Lee, Carmelo, Porzingis, Noah. I think that this is the team that's going to kind of provide you some value here. Now, obviously, I don't expect the Knicks to win. Courtney Lee at 3,700 will be a very popular way to get exposure off of the Knicks at shooting guard. Shooting guard, not one of the strongest positions on this slate, so 3,700 for a guy of Lee's caliber and Lee's minutes is certainly something that's going to be very interesting to see. The other thing I kind of want to see is if we get any news on what Justin Holiday's minutes off the bench will be. He should be backing up Courtney Lee. If I can get a projection of somewhere between 18 to 20 minutes, don't mind using him as a pivot option at the bare minimum 3K, and then kind of being able to fit in that extra superstar.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I like that call. We're going to have to find value somewhere. It's going to come from somewhere. Where I'm looking at it, I know the matchup isn't great, but Porzingis, man, this guy, he's like the definition of tournament plays. He has very, very high upside, but he can definitely put up duds. He's looked good in the preseason. I like this. Like I said, it's not the greatest matchup in the world, but if you're going to pick on anybody, Tristan Thompson, out of the guys that are starting for Cleveland, is definitely the guy on defense that is average, would be closest to average, I guess. So I don't mind Porzingis here, and he's a mismatch every night. He's 7'4" and can shoot the ball.
Yeah, and if they try to put Kevin Love on him, that will just be a pure disaster too.
Please.
So, yeah, I'm not probably going to end up with much Porzingis. Power forward's a spot I'm going to go high or low, I imagine, on DraftKings, where LeBron is eligible at this position. But on FanDuel, I think he's much more in play because he kind of represents the tie tier. And as you mentioned, if he could draw some Kevin Love, and he would be a pretty still solid mismatch against Tristan Thompson.
One other guy that on this Knicks team that's pretty cheap across the industry, Joakim Noah. He plays with so much energy. It's just we don't know what the minutes are going to be like. We know that in a limited role last year, when he was healthy with the Bulls, he did produce fantasy points. So his price is down everywhere. I like the price at FanDuel at 5K if you're not going to go up to a couple of the guys that we're going to talk about later on.
Here's my problem. If I was really excited about Joakim Noah, and then I read this report. This is from the New York Daily News. Right now, I feel a step slow defensively, and I have to do better. I mean, for sure, I haven't played in a long time. I'll just have to get my steps back, my first step back, and it will come. It will come. Okay,
so, but all right, that definitely is something that we need to note. But it's Porzingis, Noah, Melo. Who else do they have for the front court? Maybe
it's a tough matchup to begin with, though. Really tough matchup to begin with. And
I know, but if it's a short rotation,
who is he gonna cover on the floor?
Tristan Thompson.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is a spot where the Knicks are gonna have to downsize and downshift.
I just don't see how they could do it, though.
I don't either, but I don't see how Noah's gonna work.
All right, we'll see how that plays out. Let's talk about the Cleveland side of things. Ring night, LeBron James, best player in the NBA, under 10K on FanDuel. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm not fitting with that price.
No, and just on a slate where it's LeBron versus Melo. These are always fun games to watch too.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Maybe Cleveland can downsize too, right? They could throw LeBron at the 4.
Unless the Knicks are just really going to play big guys all night.
Maybe Lance Thomas is interesting. Or maybe Brandon Jennings is interesting if they really downsize and move Courtney Lee to the 3.
I don't know.
It's a 3-game slate, Stevie. These are the things we've got to talk about.
No, I know. I'm just trying to
Visualize it?
yes. And
Yeah, I can't either. But this is why I know this team is going to, like, if I can't visualize it, then I know that probably most likely a lot of people, other people won't be able to identify it. And this will make it these guys the lowest down on the board.
somebody from the Knicks is going to have a good game, whether it be one of the starters, somebody that's going to come in and play heavy minutes off the bench. Like, somebody's going to have that game to give you that tournament upside. I think me and you both agree on that.
Yeah. I think this is like the rest of the teams I feel like are really predictable. This is the one team where I see a lot of variance in the range of outcomes.
Yeah, it's a new coach and a lot of new moving pieces here.
Yeah, exactly.
The Cleveland side of things, we talked about LeBron, Kyrie, and J.R. Smith is really, really, really cheap on FanDuel. I don't have him pulled up on DraftKings.
Do we have any word about his minutes? What's his conditioning level at? He played 12 minutes in the final preseason game on the 19th. I wonder if he's going to get a full workload here in this game, especially if they start getting control.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a fair point. His price, though, like, that's what has me intrigued is his price.
Yeah.
I don't think J.R. Smith is a cash game play. I think there's a guy that we'll talk about here in a little while that we know the minutes are pretty secure and, he's going to move into a starting role. But, like, where are we going with Cleveland outside of LeBron that you feel comfortable with?
I don't mind Kyrie. I don't mind Kyrie.
I think Kyrie's one of the best tournament point guards on the slate.
Yeah. Like, you were in my draft tonight. 8 major crow on Kyrie this offseason. Took him in the second round. I thought he was really the best player on the board by far. And still was the 7th or 8th point guard off the board. I should note that. But I do like that. I do like the spot for Kyrie this year. I think he's going to have a monster year. And I think it's going to start tonight, to be honest.
It could definitely start against Derrick Rose.
Or Brandon Jennings.
Or Jennings, yeah, for sure. He definitely has one of the better matchups as far as just overall matchups goes on this entire slate.
It's just hard to fit him in. It
is hard to fit him in. That's where that price of J.R. Smith and even Tristan Thompson's really cheap too. It's just interesting because of the price.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. So who's the backup point guard for Cleveland? Like, it is Jordan McRae, right? He's going to get the minutes at the backup one?
I
don't see, because there's no Mo Williams, right? He's still out. He's holding out or whatever.
Trying to look here.
Yeah, he said he's not going to return to the Cavs. He's still recovering from injury. So I think it's Jordan McRae. If there's a blowout, we saw what the guy can do in blowouts in the preseason. I mean, he just went off every single game. Was a guy that was like 70% owned in preseason. I don't hate it. If you're playing, the $4 with $1 million prize pool to first and you got to get a little cute off the board, I don't mind it.
All right. Any other thing that you like from this game that we need to talk about?
I mean, I just recommended a guy who might play 12 minutes, so no.
All right, let's move on. And is he even in the player pool on FanDuel?
Oh, come on. He has to be in the player pool on FanDuel. He might be listed as a shooting guard over there. That's where he was in the preseason.
Oh, he was the last guy on the thing. He was on the way to the bottom. Was
he a point guard or shooting guard?
Shooting guard, min salary.
Yeah.
Actually,
really kind of like that more.
Yeah, I like the fact that we can take a shot on a guy that's min salary. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Utah at Portland. 2 notes here. And, when we're doing the grind and we're doing the morning grind, the first thing that we're going to talk about, and it's something that you're going to watch throughout the day, but we're going to try to mention any type of injuries. And the injuries here for Utah is something worth noting for sure. Gordon Hayward sidelined for this opening night, and Derek Favors got in a limited practice on Monday. He's the guy we really need to pay attention to.
Man, it wouldn't be the start of NBA season without having to have some breaking news and uncertainty.
3-game slate, too.
I mean, so here's the deal. If he's a game-time decision and we don't know it, lock. And remember now, there's no late swap anywhere. No late swap on DraftKings anymore. He's a guy that you're rolling a bunch of lineups out there. I think you got to take a couple of GPP bullets on him at 5%. Because if he goes, it's a good spot. And for some reason, I had thought this game was in Utah the whole time.
No,
and now that I see it's in Portland, I love Utah players way more than I did before.
Yeah.
Why is this total so low? And this total's low. Yeah, this total's low for Portland. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's been bet up a bit too. It opened at 192 and it's up to 193.5. That's not going to close there. That's going to get close to 195, I would think.
So the thing that we need to know about Favors, we're doing it night before, early morning pod. Like, he was restricted in practice on Monday. Like, that's not a good sign. But this is where this late swap stuff, if we don't get any news throughout the day, because this is a later game, this is where it's going to come to our benefit, like what you were just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to definitely throw in some Lyles, and I'm definitely going to throw in some Derek Favors. I think Trey Lyles is like your chalk spot for value if Favors is out. Now, I don't think Favors is actually going to be out. I think he's going to play. That's just my guess. The reports say they don't think he's going to play, but
if there was ever a game just to kind of sit out to continue to try to get healthy, though,
this would be this one. Yeah.
First game of the season, not at home. I think that's factors we need to factor in. But all right, so we definitely talked on that enough. What are we doing with the Utah situation with Hayward out? Is Joe Johnson just a guy we're going to plug in the cash games?
Probably.
Kind of have to, right? Like, his price across the industry, really cheap. I think that in cash, in tournaments, there's definitely reasons to fade him, but in cash games.
His name is Joe Johnson. There's the reason number one to fade him. He's laughing only because he knows it's really true.
Oh, yeah, you got me. You definitely got me, and I was definitely not expecting you to say that. All right, so let's stay with Utah here. One of my favorite plays on the slate, and I feel like he should be one of everybody's favorite plays. And if you're playing on FanDuel and you don't have this guy, please send me games. Rudy Gobert, 6,200 on FanDuel is ridiculous. Like, this is the spot. Even if Favors plays, there's probably going to be a chance that he's going to be a little limited. Like, Gobert is in such an excellent spot here. We love picking on centers against Portland. Yes.
I can't think of any reason. I mean, I just took him in the third round of our 16-team league. I love Rudy Gobert this year. I am like as high on Rudy Gobert as you can get. I am president or co-president of the Rudy Gobert fan club this year. I am going to play him early. I'm going to play him often. He's going to finish this year as a top 17 player, maybe 15, 20 player in the league. I love him this year. I think he's going to go bonkers. The offensive development I've seen in the preseason, I think it's for real. And honestly, all he needs to do is like average a couple more points a game, and he's basically Hassan Whiteside 2.0.
I like it, man. I really do. I love this spot for him. What are we doing with George Hill? Obviously, I was in chat a little while ago. We were hanging out for Night Sweats, and a lot of questions about George Hill. Like,
I love the spot. He's gonna have to play a lot of minutes. He's just gonna have to play a lot of minutes, and it's a good pace up spot for Utah at Portland. So I definitely think that the games we played a little more at Portland's pace, and I think that's going to benefit a guy like George Hill, who I think is going to do a little bit better in the transition game. I really like him.
Yeah, this game's sitting at a total that's 10 points lower than the other two games.
That total's too low. It's just too low.
All I'm going to say is it should lower the ownership on these guys a little bit too.
Yeah, like I would be really surprised if this game doesn't finish like 197, 198, something like that. I think this game gets in the upper 90s.
Anybody else from Utah?
Yeah, actually, a couple other guys. Rodney Hood, I don't mind. I know that he's still coming off a hand injury, but it looks like he will be back in the starting lineup here. Don't mind him. Gets a solid matchup against a smaller two-guard in CJ McCollum. I don't mind. Where's the other guy? There's another guy on Utah I like, but I can't find him. Where is he? He's listed as a small forward. Oh, why can't I find him? He might be in my lineup.
The ball a lot too. Like, that's something we need to know. Like, Hood's volume of shooting he should put up double-digit shots in this game.
Yeah, here it is. Dante Exum. He was hiding over here at point guard. Don't mind Dante Exum or Shelvin Mack is kind of GPP flyers here in a pace-up game off the bench. In case this game goes small, Portland has the ability to go really small with Evan Turner, Mo Harkless now. They can go really smaller than they did even last year. If they're trying to get Gobert off the floor, they could try to downshift this game. And I would, in that situation, Exum or Mac would benefit.
All right, let's move on to the other side here. You know, we have the Portland Trailblazers. I think the best play from Portland is Damian Lillard, right? Like the usage, he's going to be the guy that has the ball in his hand.
I have no interest in Damian Lillard.
All right.
I might completely fade Damian Lillard in this spot. Basically, there's just too many cooks in the kitchen for Portland for my taste. They've got a bunch of ball handlers or ball dominant guys in Lillard, McCollum, and Evan Turner. He's coming off the bench as the sixth man, but still, there just feels like too many cooks to be priced at 8,500. I think we can just do better. I would rather play CJ McCollum at 63 over Lillard at 85. You get the shooting guard eligibility. It's just a spot where I think Lillard's overpriced for what his role in this offense is going to be this year. Like, he's still going to be a really good play, but he's a guy I want to play when he's going to be like 78, 77. 85, just way too much. I would just rather go down 500 to Kyrie Irving. It's not even close for me.
All right, fair point.
Or go up 1,100 to Steph. Like, I can't pay this price on Damian Lillard against Utah.
I'm going to play McCollum a lot in tournaments this year. I think everybody should play McCollum a lot in tournaments this year. Could see some favorable matchups here. I think McCollum's definitely in a spot where you want to play him in tournaments.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that assessment more. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so has it been named is it going to be Evan Turner starting or is it going to be Harkless?
It's Harkless. Turner coming off the bench.
So, like, do we have interest in Harkless having the matchup with Joe Johnson, who is...
None. Zero.
Yeah.
As the Mo Harkless whisperer, no. None. Zero.
Okay.
Fade him completely. Play Evan Turner. Way better option.
That's what I was going to ask you. Any interest in Evan Turner being the sixth man?
Yeah, I have a lot of interest in that scenario for sure.
And we can sum up Mason Plumlee really fast. Rudy Gobert.
I actually don't hate Plumlee.
Oh, I hate playing centers against Gobert.
I do too, but have you looked at the centers on this slate?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, Pau Gasol's a great tournament option. We'll get there.
Yep.
But don't mind me some Plum Dog.
The thing that worries me about Plumlee is we've seen it so many times last year where we played 25 minutes.
Yeah, but there's literally no one else on the roster that can defend him. Like, Ezeli's probably out.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, who's even on their roster that could defend?
Well, it's the same guys as last year, right? Like,
Greg Stiesman got cut.
Von Lee and...
Good luck with that.
No, I know, but these are the guys that took minutes from him last year, which is just concerning to me.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, and like maybe over the course of a season, but in this matchup against Gobert, who is going to play 30-something minutes, who is going to cover him other than Mason Plumlee?
You're making points. Like, I'm hearing you.
Myers Leonard. Good luck with that.
I'm hearing you.
Like, oh boy.
We're not touching Plumlee for cash. We're talking tournaments for sure.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Like, the top option we recommend is the cash game option. It's a 3-game slate. Like, everything after that is you're playing the $4 $1 million and trying to find some wacky combination.
And don't be afraid to take chances on this slate. Like, if you're rolling out like multiple $4 tournaments, like, it's going to take, and you're probably going to see a lot of teams tie for first place.
If a chalky lineup wins, you bet. But if you take a shot off the board and you get the right combination, you fit in the extra superstar, maybe you do it by yourself.
San Antonio, Golden State, the game that everybody wants to see. It's a kind of a new look San Antonio Spurs, if we want to say that. Like, it's not really. Duncan retired, right? Like hello, Pau Gasol, bye, Tim Duncan. Like, nothing changes too much there.
What do you think Pau's minutes are going to be in this spot against Golden State? Is Golden State really going to try to downsize against the Spurs in this spot?
Maybe.
Like as opposed to last year, the edge isn't as big as it was last year in downsizing against the San Antonio team, I feel like.
Yeah, because they could keep Pau out there with LaMarcus Aldridge and just You know,
No, they can't do that.
why not? They could play zone.
Zone against Golden State. If they try that, let me know. I'll just play every Golden State shooter on every team.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm just saying, like, it's the situations like we know Draymond Green is going to give LaMarcus Aldridge fits.
Yeah, maybe they do downsize and get Powell out of the game. Like, I'm much higher, I think, on Kyle Anderson and Jonathan Simmons than like the field. So I just feel like that it's not as much of an upgrade. Like, I don't know. I think Zaza's good. So like, I think I'd rather have Zaza against Powell than like Iguodala against Jonathan Simmons defense. I don't know. That's probably a hot take. Probably not how the coaching staff's going to think now that I say it out loud. And now that I say that out loud, they might downsize and Powell's minutes could be a concern. I'm a little bit more worried about Powell than I was before. Just talking that out.
Yeah, and like, so Danny Green, we need to mention, that's the injury news here. He's out. Simmons was out for a couple of days, but he's expected to play in this game. I think, like I said, the biggest news here is Green's out. Where should we see those minutes go? Patty Mills?
I was going to – I don't know if they can go that small, can they?
Well, Patty Mills, you were on it with Jonathan Simmons. We'll get some of those minutes. And I can't think of his name.
Kyle Anderson?
Kyle Anderson, yes.
Yeah, this is just a situation where I think this game is – I mean, now that I've like completely thought about this, like I guess San Antonio is going to have trouble going small without Danny Green in the fold, because with Danny Green in the fold, they could just go Parker, Danny Green, Kawhi, Aldridge, Simmons, or Mills and be okay. But now they're going to be in trouble without Danny Green. They can't really match up defensively. So I guess they're going to probably play Jonathan Simmons. I was asking the very talented Michael Gallagher about this earlier. He seemed to think Kyle Anderson would get the minutes, but I don't know if Kyle Anderson can defend Klay Thompson. So I think it's going to have to be Jonathan Simmons by default.
Oh, these are the decisions that we have on a 3-game slate. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Jonathan Simmons at 3K, I think, is my favorite of the 3K shooting guards that I've mentioned so far. Especially if the game gets out of hand, like he's a guy that they would kind of keep on the floor.
The one thing that we do need to note, like this needs to be noted like right away, Kawhi Leonard, one of my favorite plays on the slate.
Yeah, we kind of buried the lead there. Like, he is the favorite play. If I was to go 100% on any guy this slate, it would probably be Kawhi Leonard. He's just underpriced compared to Durant and LeBron. He should be way closer to them in terms of salary. I think that's like the one mistake in terms of salary here. Pace up game for Kawhi. Yeah, there's some blowout risk, but you know what? At 7,800, that's kind of baked into the price, and I think you can get upside if it's a 4-quarter game.
All right. Anybody else? I think we kind of went backwards with the Spurs. We talked a lot of the value. Any interest in LaMarcus Aldridge?
Not really. Foul trouble is a tad concern against Draymond.
I don't disagree with that.
I just really can't see a scenario in which I guess on DraftKings where I could use him at center, I could use it like maybe make him a pivot off of Gobert, but it's not exactly something I really would like to do.
Yeah, really, a large field tournament play only, I think.
More of a play on FanDuel than DraftKings. I think on DraftKings, like I'm going to end up using LeBron or Durant in my power forward slot in most lineups if I can make it work.
Well, let's talk Durant. Coming over to this team, looked good in preseason. This team looked good in preseason. Shouldn't shock anybody, right?
He also owns the Spurs, destroys them. He's had 2 games in the last the lowest point total he's had since 2010 against this team is, in terms of DraftKings points, is the game he got hurt in. He had 21 points in 2010. But since then, he's had a low point total of 33 and multiple games in the high 40s and 50s. Like, he just owns Kawhi. I don't know, though, what I'm going to do with him. I was planning on him being my huge fade of the day. just because I like LeBron more at home on the ring ceremony night. I kind of want to take a stand here between the three. I think that's kind of my strategy heading into the slate is I want to take a stand on Durant, Kawhi, LeBron, be super heavy on 2, fade the third. I'm leaning towards the Durant fade at this point.
All right. And the thing, let's talk about that history. Like, much different team here with Golden State than being on a team where it was him and Westbrook versus the Spurs in games that, were going to be close. We have a Golden State team where they have, 4 really legit offensive options now.
Yeah, but he even destroyed him back in his Supersonics days. So, this has been going on for a while now.
Fair point. I'm just saying there's so many options around him now.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be the lowest owned of the 3, and normally I would be willing to attack that spot. But I think that his ownership is going to be too high relative to the other 2, and I think I'd rather take the stand the other way.
All right. What are we doing with Steph Curry here?
I'm rocking and loading him. He is my number 1 play. Actually, let me just make sure. I uploaded my model. Also another tease. We're getting good. I'm getting good at this. Pretty sure he's still my number 1 play overall. He is. He is my number 1 overall play here on this slate. So I'm just going to go ahead and play him.
All right. I have no issues with that. The one guy that I don't know what I'm going to do a lot with, and he probably will be the guy that burns me, is Klay Thompson.
I'm just going to end up fading him, but he could absolutely burn me. There's just shooting guard's a spot I need for value. I just have to find value there because I can't find it anywhere else. Maybe on some teams I'll go to value at point guard with George Hill, but I don't really want to be using George Hill in my point guard spot if I can avoid it.
Draymond Green, we have to talk about them all. We have to.
He's fine. Not my favorite, not my worst.
So what it's coming down to is we're going to play Steph here. We're going to have some Durant, mixed in. Anybody else that you like from Golden State?
Not really. Just you can play the bench guys, I guess, if they're going to get minutes, but good luck knowing which one gets them. Like David West, maybe 7th man off the bench. I think that's what Steve Kerr said today. He's the 7th man on that team.
Oh, this is what it's coming to.
I know, but I don't know what else to talk. I mean, what is that Steve Kerr rotation? He did announce it really publicly for some reason. I still don't understand.
Yeah, but so there was reports that came out. Obviously it was 10 days